What is going on? Welcome back to the Phoenix channel. If this is your first time checking out my content, consider hitting the like button, consider subscribing to this channel. It's going to be rant number 2 for today, and it's going to be a completely different topic. This rant is about developers and the lack of developers on EOS. And while we may have a sufficient number of, say, to some extent, I guess, developers maybe maintaining the network, and the network is stable in a sense that it continues to produce blocks, which is, I think, pretty cool and amazing, actually, if you think about it, for the amount of years that EOS has been in operation and existed. Um, you know, at launch, post Genesis, it's amazing. But there still seems to be just a lack of application development on EOS, and some of that I think is people could argue the uncertainty with the United States securities regulation is part of that. But I also think that just overall, some of it's just all the hoops that maybe one had to jump through to get any interest in funding a project. And so I think the biggest challenge for EOS right now is providing those incentives to developers to actually show up and give EOS a chance, right? Build on it, build applications on it. I mean, not everything is going to be amazing. Not everything is going to, say, be a killer dApp. But, unfortunately, right now, I can count on my hand, on a single hand, the types of apps I envision or I think of when I think about EOS applications. And I'm not talking about the core. Obviously, there's some great core tools and technologies that are within EOS, like Anchor Wallet and others like it. So I'm not talking about those. What I'm more talking about is actual end user applications that, say, folks outside of the EOS, say, echo bubble would know about, right? They would basically point to that and say, yes, that's something I actually want to use. And I think this is where I may disagree with a lot of people in the community, in the sense that many people in the community, when they think about apps, they think decentralized applications, and that being the route to go in. I think there's still a place and a position for a hybridized version of the two, where you reinvent these business models. I mean, that still hasn't been done to this day. I mean, you even look at the applications on Ethereum. None of them are really at a caliber where you have commercial grade solutions that just normal people would want to use, that provide a real value proposition. Most of them are based on speculation of some pump and dump. And so I think where I'm going to gear my efforts towards, as I learn more about developing, I'm kind of in my week 6 right now, believe it or not. Actually not starting my full-blown boot camp until June, it sounds like. But in the meantime, I'm learning EOS IO as well, along with the front end stuff. And actually, I'll put in the link below for those that are interested. I did set up a Calendary like schedule setup for newbie developers on EOS or EOS IO who are interested in learning with me, doing some pair programming. Let's get together and do that, because the only way to really solve the issue with the lack of applications is to actually build. And you're not going to have there's not going to be a miracle situation where random people are just going to come and build on EOS. I think some of the momentum could shift with the implementation of EVM, right? The integration with Ethereum and the virtual machine. Some of it's going to still have to be incentives, have some way to provide grants to individuals or teams. Some of it's going to need to be development in some fashion for VC pipeline flow, right? For projects that have, say, a proof of concept and have a pitch deck and are polished and are ready to go, right, to that next level. And we really haven't seen that with EOS. So we actually don't know what the potential is there, because in my, again, just my opinion, B1, kind of failed to do that with their VC ventures. And so it's actually kind of an exciting thing if the community can garner the interest that had been there, I'd say, say 3 years ago, where we had a lot of the great teams start putting these projects together. And I think that's where I'm going to try to allocate some time in terms of thinking about what type of reinvented model maybe I want to build with others. And I'm looking for other people too. I'm always looking for people to learn with and work with. I think the biggest challenge with EOS is a lot of community members put their stake in B1, and they're sort of at the end of the rope in a sense of patience, maybe allocating time to work on things. And so I actually have not seen a huge interest in people actually responding to content like this where I'm saying, hey, I'm actually looking to learn, um, you know, basically how to develop a simple app on EOS. We progress from there, right, as baby steps. It's kind of like going to a weight room every day or eating nutrition, healthy nutrition every day. It's not going to happen over a day. You got to do that type of activity on a routine basis. And I think in some cases, EOS as a community has sort of sputtered along with the inconsistencies and in having certain initiatives. When you look and work at a regular enterprise business, for example, to really put together an initiative, you're looking at regular types of meetings and time being allocated, right, to be successful. And so that's what I'm doing in my own personal life with my goal to maybe be more remote based in terms of being a professional. You got to put in that time, right? And I think that I don't see a lot of the actual builders in EOS. So I'd love to know what you guys think. What are some of the things you're thinking you want to do with EOS, or are you just exhausted, or what would be the motivation to maybe consider supporting the community in that way? Because I think that is the biggest need. It's not about ranting about semantics. I just disagree with other people who rant, who talk about, say, the relationships with block producers or, say, the exchanges. I don't think any of it is that, because a lot of these other projects don't have those kind of relationships. I think it's more about just we don't have the utility in terms of the number of applications we've seen. And that could be decentralized apps, or it could even be hybridized apps, right, where we're reinventing models. You look at a project like Ava, it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to take that more on a global stage, right, and get the name out there, or Ava hasn't cross-pollinated to EOS, right, because Ava runs on a private chain, not necessarily integrated with EOS. So how are those issues addressed, or how are they going to be addressed? That's really the question I want to bring today. So I'd love to know what you guys think. This is EOS signing off. Hope you guys are having a great day, and look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.